December meeting of the Indiana Township Board of Supervisors to order. First thing is please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we have, with the board's indulgence, I'm going to move to the first line of new business, the possible approval to offer conditional full-time employment to police officer candidates so that these gentlemen don't have to sit through all of it. So
I make a motion that we move the agenda up to include that.
Second. Chief, you wanna go through the list of the names?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, I'm recommending the Board of Supervisors approve the hiring of the following police candidates for the position of full-time patrolman: Evan Corinne, Corey Newman, and Michael Seafeld, and the effective date would be December 2nd, 2024. They would start. Each candidate is sitting right here in the front row. They were excellent candidates. We had a pretty good selection of candidates to go through. It was a process we went through, and I think they're gonna be very well for the township.
Okay, any comments from the board?
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional full-time employment for all three police officer candidates.
I'll second.
Mayor, you have to ask for any comment from the public before.
Okay.
So.
Is there any comment from the public? Okay.
Yes.
So we have a motion by Supervisor Jorgensen, second by Supervisor Crowley, to approve the offer of conditional full-time employment to the three candidates that we see before us. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Congratulations.
Three you to be sworn.
So which one's Corey, Evan, and Michael?
Yes.
Corey, Michael, Aaron,
Yes.
pleasure.
Corey?
Pleasure.
Michael?
Pleasure.
I will ask you to read this as a group.
I don't think I'm related. You don't spell your name N-E-U-M-A-N-A. How you doing?
Thank you.
Okay, I love you.
Good.
Sarah, nice to meet you.
We've been down there.
Hi.
You don't need that.
Nice to meet you.
Mike.
Lauren, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we made sure it wasn't related.
I did.
Okay, so if all three of you can stand like at that angle so the audience can see you and see you being sworn. Put your right hand up and you'll read what's in front of you and state your individual names, even where it says I blank, Pittsburgh or Cheswick or whatever. All together.
Okay.
I
Michael Seafeld.
Westier Township.
Of Indiana Township, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of police officer with fidelity. And I do also solemnly swear that I am not knowingly a member with the specific intent to further the aims of any organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or this Commonwealth by force or violence or other unconditional means, or seeking by force or violence to deny other person the right under the Constitution of the United States or of this Commonwealth. I do further swear that I will not knowingly become a member with the specific intent to further the aims of such organization during the period that I am an employee of the Township of Indiana.
thank you and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do. Thanks for bringing these guys in.
So,
Okay,
Yes, you can see.
now we'll go back to the agenda.
Indiana Township. We used to do this.
We move conversations and so forth out to the hall so we can continue with our business, please. Okay, first, item here is approval of the minutes of the 9 October 2024 Board of Supervisors meeting.
I have one correction, Mayor, is under the solicitor's report. It was Attorney Rob who had nothing to report.
Right.
Yeah, I have some concerns about some of the back and forth and some of this, but I don't think it's worth the time. We got a lot of stuff to do. So I think we just take the vote. No.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 9th, 2024 minutes.
I have a motion by Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Jorgensen to approve the minutes of the October 9th, 2024 minutes of the, the Board of Supervisors
As amended with the.
as amended. Any further comments? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
And I'm going to abstain, since I was not present at the meeting.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next item is citizens forum for comments on agenda items only. Is there anybody that would like to come forward and address the board? Step forward, give your name and address.
Good evening, Emily Gallons, 54 Ridgeland Drive. One, just wanted to say thank you for the balanced budget. That's always appreciated. And I know it takes a lot of work to do that, so thank you. One item for consideration on the budget, I wasn't aware, I should have spoken earlier, so I'm adding that here, hopefully that's okay. But for a rather modest cost of about $7,500, we would be able to stream these meetings, which I know has been a topic that has come up. Given you are in budget planning season, I'm speaking on behalf of Nettie Owens, who is on vacation, but had talked with her and wanted to put that on the radar as a request to see if it could be something that could be added into the budget. I know when discussed previously, it was also something that we indicated we would be happy to support with some community fundraising if that was needed to help offset the cost. But again, pretty modest cost, but something that is definitely being leveraged and utilized, even though it's being independently done by the citizens. And then the only other comment is really a question, again, on behalf of Nettie, who wasn't able to be here tonight, but she wanted to follow up and understand if it's still required when citizens get up to speak to give their address.
Okay, now both of your comments actually should have come in the last citizens forum, because this is for only items that are on tonight's agenda. Neither one of those items is, but the answer to your question is, we still require you.
If a person objects and does not want to state their address, they're not required. But
We prefer that they do.
they're not, if someone says, no, I prefer not to, they're not required to do so.
Thank you. Any further comments pertaining to agenda items? Okay, I'll move forward. Development proposals. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could chime in first on the Stivers lot line revision. I got an email from that applicant that they're doing a minor revision since they had planning commission approval. So I asked you to table this for tonight, and it's gonna go back before planning commission with one minor modification. They ran into a snag with the mortgage company, and they're gonna take the one lot back to the original. It's not gonna be part of this lot line revision.
Okay. Can I get a motion to table the Stivers lot line revision?
I'll move to table Stivers lot line revision.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, well, motion by Supervisor Hertwick, and second by Supervisor Newman to table the Stivers lot line revision until they are able to provide us the additional information required. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Saxonburg Boulevard School subdivision,
I'll go with that's me.
okay?
Is there anybody here representing the Saxonburg?
Hi, Robert Bartolesi, representing Saxonburg School.
Do you want to explain to the board real briefly, I guess, what your intent is and request for this? Sure.
Sure, so, family and I redeveloped the Saxonburg School across the street from the, Hartford Pond School, excuse me. It's a bigger lot than we need, we would like to subdivide it and make a home site at the back, because it's facing residential area.
So in essence, taking one lot and breaking it into two. The planning commission did have an opportunity to review this plan. The concern that we had was that the existing detention facility would have been discharged in a position that we found uncomfortable. So since that time, the engineer for the developer has redirected that flow, as well as to put a disclaimer on the plans protecting the township. So based on the foregoing, the planning commission would recommend approval of the Saxonburg Borough School subdivision.
Where was the flow, discharging initially? Okay, and now it will be discharging that. Looks good to me.
Okay, I got a question on that one. Are we sure that there's gonna be sufficient parking for the people that will be utilizing the building that you're renovating to do this lot line separation?
So it is not close to the parking area.
Okay.
It is separate from that parking.
All right, so can I get a motion on that?
I'll move.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Newman, second by Supervisor Hepwick to approve the the Saxonburg Boulevard School subdivision.
In accordance with,
What's that?
is it in accordance with the comments of the engineer?
Yeah, in accordance with the comments of the engineer's letter. Any,
Do you have a date for it, Dan?
Engineers, like,
He doesn't know the date.
It's in your packets, let me just get it out for you.
Yeah.
October 22nd, does that sound right?
Yeah, November,
October 22nd.
Thanks.
so approve it, the Saxonburg Boulevard School subdivision, based, or with the exception of, or with the conclusion of the comments made in the engineer's letter dated October 22nd. Any further comments?
Just one question for Mr. Bartolacci.
Yes.
The plan for potential egress would be Allison or Keck, Garden Lane? There's just quite a few roads back there. I'm trying to just envision.
Sure, yeah, and I don't want to speak for whoever might buy the property, but what I had envisioned, you were literally gonna turn off the pack and leave on the driveway right there, but.
Okay. I just haven't been back there, so it's hard for me to visualize it. So just-
In fact, I mean, that's where the idea came from, driving back there to landscape it. Brush it, perfect home site right there. So that would be my choice,
Your choice,
but
yeah.
I wouldn't say it wasn't another home.
I think for us to approve it, they have to come off Keck Drive, which is public, because you can't add a lot on the private road. So their access will have to come off.
Okay, so the other roads there are.
The other one's a private road.
Are all
Already has
private.
more than 5.
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you. It's interesting.
And let me just also say that the developer has submitted a maintenance schedule for the detention facility and a procedure that we expect them to follow.
Any further comments?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bartley.
Thank you. Good evening.
The next one is the Frederick Farms PRD plan, and I see the representatives in the audience for that plan. If you'd like to step up and give us your presentation.
I thought we were just here for the schedule.
tell a little bit about what they're gonna be scheduling for you?
I'm sorry, I didn't bring my boards, I thought we weren't gonna have to say anything.
That's okay.
Just a high level overview.
Yeah, my name's Alberto Harkeen from Gateway Engineers, Grant Miller with Allen Homes. So we're working on a PRD, 32 lot PRD residential subdivision out on Saxonburg Boulevard and Arch Run Road. The property is like the Frederick property that's there now. So we've gone ahead and submitted for preliminary approval, tentative approval for the PRD. We're in front of the planning commission, we've received letters from Mr. Slagle, worked through those comments, and now we're here. So,
And the request for this evening, based on the recommendation from the planning commission, would be to schedule and to have a public hearing so that the township residents can hear about the plan and voice their comments or concerns.
Okay. And do we have a tentative date for that public hearing?
The December 11th meeting, in advance of the December 11th meeting? Would you like it to be 6 or 6:30?
6:30, please.
6:30? So that would probably be best then, 6:30 for December 11th in advance of the December regular meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
You can't have enough time?
Is that, it should be enough time for scheduling a public hearing? No?
You want it at 6?
It would have to be the reorganization.
No, I'm talking about the length of the public hearing.
Oh, 6. That's up to you. I try not to judge those because you never know. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's long.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if since we have.
We can always start the regular meeting late.
Like,
If it
that's what I was
starts
just gonna
15
say.
minutes late, that doesn't matter
Right.
because I'll still be here.
No, I was
So I
just gonna
don't
say
think
that.
you'd have a problem.
We don't wanna schedule it too early, cause we have residents that don't get off work and don't get here.
Can't get here, yeah.
Before 6:30,
So, and when I advertise this, if you approve that for advertising, I can advertise it with the regular meeting immediately following, so that addresses the issue of not starting at 7 if we run late, okay?
Okay.
Works for me.
I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve the request for approval to advertise for a public hearing for the Frederick Farms PRD, tentative approval at 6:30 on Wednesday, December the 11th.
Yes. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Newman, to approve a public hearing for the Frederick Farms planned residential development and have that hearing on December 11th at 6:30 p.m. prior to the Board of Supervisors meeting. Thank you. Is there any more conversation? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Everybody's looked at the bills in your packet. I'll go ahead and make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
I have a motion to pay the bills from Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Jorgensen. Any further or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. That moves us to old business.
And we have none, Mayor.
Thank you.
Move on to reports, please.
That goes to reports, volunteer fire companies.
Yeah, we had 2 fire trucks down at the police event in Emerling Park early in October, and that's about all that's new. Dorseyville got their new engine in.
Okay.
You guys push it in?
Start paying the bills.
Yeah.
Okay, emergency medical services, and we have written reports from both of them. Is there anybody here from there? Okay. Chief of Police.
Each member's been given a copy of the report, nothing further to add.
Thank you. Code enforcement.
Nothing further, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works.
Nothing to add, Mayor.
Thank you. Engineer.
Everybody has a copy of my engineer's report this evening in black and gold. as far as developers and proposals, we went through the first 3 already. On the 4th one is the Allegheny Land Trust subdivision plan, which was just submitted to us on November the 11th. And basically what they're doing there is subdividing off the Range Resources property as well as the Wagner property, and consolidate it in preparation of whatever the Allegheny Land Trust is gonna do. On the courtyards at the Hidden Falls, they've now provided us with the legal descriptions of the roads. I met with the paving company and we went over some of the remediation that needs to be done on that plan. They anticipate paving sometime before the end of November. On the Hartwood Meadows plan, as you've been out there.
Hey, Dan, before going on, excuse me. Sure. Is that plan to turn that over before the snow flies?
Yes. As far as the roads, yes. As far as the overall plan, that's yet to be seen. Because we have not done what I would call our final matters letter yet. Right. And I really don't know how much additional items that we need to take care of them. But the roads, yes. On the Hartwood Meadows plan, as I mentioned, is that they're just going gangbusters and you're getting your money's worth out of Jeff on that one. On the Foxwood Trails plan, nothing new there, but on Blue Run, we do see that one starting to move ahead. Of course, the supervisors approved the sewage planning module at your last meeting, which was now submitted to DEP for their review. They are currently getting the Allegheny County Department of Development, Allegheny County Conservation District approval on that one. We are going through the tree counting process on that one. As far as Indiana Trails PRD goes, the solicitor and myself will be putting together the developers on that agreement together on that one shortly. The tree count has been completed and we're anticipating a grading permit here in the near future. On the old Saxonburg School site plan, I just stopped out there this evening to take a look at the items that were left on final matters of that. They are complete on that, and we will be releasing their performance bond. The Harmony at Hart's Run, again, that's a project Jeff and I are working on with the intent of giving them some types of orders in the near future. On the Ottawa Hills Sewer Project, I do have to meet with the manager and Larry on that one, as well as the MS4 program, to make sure that we're getting the items that we need for the reporting process. The zoning ordinance update, the planning commission is very near to requesting or sending it on to the supervisors. On the paving project, there's a couple items left on that one, namely the signage at the Fairview Elementary School. They ran some of their trucks over top of it and put some marks, so we're gonna make them repaint them all. You know, it's the little things in life you gotta love. On the township basement leakage project, I owe Dan a letter on that one. The Brozick Community Center roof replacement, I need some input from Larry and Dan on that one. On the zoning map, Jeff and Jackie are currently looking at the minor items left on that one. And then finally, the People's Natural Gas are now gonna be extending gas lines up Bruno Drive and Timber Lane. My guess is that anticipation of providing gas for the Blue Run development. So that's where things are from an insurance point of view.
You left out the township salt shed.
Oh, yes.
That was a big project.
So, with the help of Larry, if you've been out there, you've noticed that the fence is down. The project is moving into the field area of that project. All of the precast concrete units have now been cast, and we're gonna be seeing those, what did I say here? What was it? The 25th they'll be coming in. The subgrade is done, the sub base is in. They're gonna be pouring the concrete slab here, probably not this week, but next week. The foundation is poured, so it's moving right along. Will it be in time for Larry to order salt? Probably not. We're working through that.
We have anybody here, Larry, on the 25th?
What's that?
We you have anybody here on the 25th?
Yeah, probably.
That concludes my report.
Does that conclude your report?
Can we expect to see, a final, movement on the PRD update, next month, do you suspect?
I think the planning commission will probably submit it on, send it on to the supervisors. I think.
I've got another quick question, Dan or Dan, how does the Allegheny Land Trust subdivision plan, how does it relate to, I've heard some stuff about like game commission, working on some of that?
Yeah, the game commission, approved funding half of the purchase price,
Okay.
along with the land trust. And,
Do we
you know,
know
that,
title, do we know yet?
well, it's still, right now, it's the land trust, but ultimately, I would expect that with them participating in that purchase, that ultimately it would be state game lands.
Game land, okay.
You know, and, you know, like, there's good and bad. I mean, ultimately, though, it'll be preserved, it won't be.
Yes.
Could be, you know, my concern with this is that when they bring in their plans, and I've asked the engineers that, you know, the township has an interest in the, acquiring the access through that Miller property for our upper part of Cove Run. There's as much acreage at the top part of that hill that's unused, unutilized in Emerald Park as is utilized in the lower half. That's really just not accessible for people. And so that's something I'd like to address along with that when they look at those plans and how we can achieve that for the township.
So you think they'll probably be here in December to kind of?
They submitted plans, I understand, so
Alright.
they're in the process.
Thank you.
They just came in the other day.
Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure on the plan, well, there's always something on every single plan that's out of sorts. Just, as in the words of Cecil Tranquil, there's no such thing as a simple subdivision. It just doesn't happen, but, it'll be interesting to see who is gonna be signing off on the plan, whether it's Miller or whether it's, the Allegheny Land Trust.
I think right now, it'll probably be Miller until the title transfers, because Miller's retaining title to the portion that's being subdivided off.
Yeah.
That's the Miller Family Trust.
It's the little things.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Solicitor,
Thank you. I do not have a report this evening.
thank you. Manager,
I have nothing to add at this time, Mayor.
thank you. No one for Parks and Rec?
Well, I would note for Parks and Rec, you did have the summary, in there of the 2024 pavilion rentals. It gives you the total rentals of each of those pavilions in each of the parks.
Right.
And the total permits issued for a total revenue of $11,055.
Okay, thank you.
And also the grant application you put in for the next round.
Okay. Historical Commission?
We have nothing.
Supervisors, District 1,
Nothing for District 1?
District 3?
Just a quick thank you to Steve, Chief of Police, and all the fire companies for a very nice, safe Halloween as we're patrolling the neighborhoods. I know Royal Ridge brought the fire truck into our district, so it was much appreciated as usual. We got a big kick out of it. Everybody was safe and had a wonderful time, so thank you for that. That's all I have.
Okay, District 4?
Yeah, just also I'd like to thank the police for their presence. My daughter got to see Chief Colucci, got some candy from him. It was a real big highlight for the kids, so they were thrilled. And that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. District 5?
So I don't have a Halloween report, but I do have an election day report for the police help and Dan's help. There were some lighting issues on the voting here. And, you know, we wanted to make sure that, you know, Indiana Township didn't end up on the news when it came to, you know, an election snafu. So everybody worked really hard. It was probably about 7 o'clock at night, you know, and
We have about a dozen fixtures over there that needed upgraded, just as we did with these can lights in here, with the old LEDs that are just fading, and they just weren't working sufficiently, so.
And one more thing, I heard a lot of good feedback on the execution of the tax credit for the fire and EMS and Dan, you know, great job. We don't always get Ann here, but I mean, we heard a lot of good things
2, I have nothing further tonight. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the foregoing reports?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Newman, to accept the foregoing reports. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence.
Yes, Mayor, we have a letter from KDH Consulting Engineers on their Cove Run Road, notice of stream crossing, general permit application, for the record.
Okay. Thank you.
And go on to new business if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Then we've already covered item A. The next item is the possible approval to advertise the 2025 budget. And I just want to take a moment to thank the department heads and everybody that was involved in the work that they did in helping put things together. And Ian, I appreciate all the effort you put forth in the change in the software and all the help putting this together. I think it was really good this year to be in a position to be able to present a balanced budget with no increase in taxes in spite of the reduction in revenue.
Okay, now before we vote, did we have that page that was gonna be shown?
Summary
Yes.
page.
Thank you, Ian.
Great, thank you. Sure.
Thanks, Dan.
So the total of all funds there, $8,389,201.
With that being said, I will make a motion to approve to advertise the 2025 budget as amended with the summary sheet. Needed, not needed?
We'll
I know it's
include
needed.
it, yeah, we'll include
You
that.
got it.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Jorgensen to approve advertising the 2025 budget. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And they'll be being advertised for consideration and adoption at your December 11th meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And the possible acceptance of the municipal bid sale, we were surprised, it's really good at the end. The high bid of $47,100 to Bobby Gerhardt. Was the high bid. Yes, it was very good. When it was in the low 20s, I thought, well, if we saw 30,
Yeah, this is.
47, that's great.
I'll make a motion to approve the acceptance of municipal bid sale of the 2012 Peterbilt for $47,100 to Mr. Bob Earhart.
We have a motion by Supervisor Crowley, second by Supervisor Jorgensen to approve the acceptance of the municipal bid sale of the 2012 Peterbilt for $47,100. Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Hey Larry, just out of curiosity, they're responsible to pick this up, right? Is there from other? You have no responsibility there? Okay.
Yeah. We did have a lot of interest in it, a lot of people.
That's, I was gonna say, that's pretty far to come from.
Yeah. We covered that thing?
D.
Okay, the possible approval of the concurring resolution 2024-07, which is for the CDBG grant application for the Emmerling ADA sidewalk project.
I will move to approve the concurrent resolution 2024-07 for CDBG grant application, Emerling ADA sidewalk.
Here a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Supervisor Newman, second by Supervisor Crowley to accept our approval of the concurring resolution 2024-07. Any comments?
Dan, that's for $50,000, what's the chances, you think?
Very good. Yeah, I think very good.
When will we
Yeah.
hear?
Christmas, yes.
You guys? Okay.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And if they don't fund it out of the COG wide, or the specifically funded, there's COG wide monies that are determined by the executive director for the COG. And if we aren't funded directly, I can still get the funding likely through the COG wide distribution.
So it looks like it's gonna happen next year.
Yes,
It's pretty exciting.
yeah.
Okay, next is citizens forum on non-agenda items. Is there anybody that would like to address the board?
Hi, my name is Vanessa Sumrock. I live at 119 Black Oak Drive. I was in attendance for the previous meetings, and to shortly recap, in July of 2024, there was a citizen request for increased setbacks to our oil and gas ordinance. Requests were for 2,500 feet, consistent with the PAAG report. The Board of Supervisors agreed to take up a discussion at the following meeting to discuss that topic. In August of 2024, the discussion was held. It was decided that the 2,500 foot setback was likely going to create too high of a risk in terms of litigation, and setback ranges from 650 to 750 were discussed. However, it felt, the board felt that for a small change of 150 to 250 feet, it was not worth the potential of the extra work for opening the ordinance. So it was also advised that the citizens speak with our local state representatives, because if there was state mandated changes, that would change the landscape within our township. Between August and September of 2024, I did make contact with Mandy Still and Lindsay Williams, both of which indicated there would not be movement on setback initiatives at the state level, and they both highly suggested that the changes be made within our township level. Lindsay Williams also sent me a copy of the ordinance from Ligonier, which she felt might be able to serve as a model for our township to look at some of their setback ranges, which included 750 from protected structures and 1.25 miles from vulnerable populations, which is not in our ordinance, such as schools, daycares, and nursing facilities. In September 2024, this information was brought to the board again to consider this, especially for vulnerable populations, which is not mentioned at all within our ordinance. In October of 2024, Vanessa Lynch stood up and presented data from a recent survey that showed bipartisan support for increased setbacks. So that brings us to today. Our current ordinance still remains in need of update to setbacks for the protections and safety of our community. I'm providing you today with a packet of several items. One is a spreadsheet of ordinances with setbacks greater than our current ones, and or having protections for vulnerable populations such as schools and daycares. I emailed this out to the supervisors because this spreadsheet also contains links that you can click on that will bring you to the ordinance or the website of that municipality. So it should be in your email. Also, the second sheet contains suggested language to change our current ordinance to increase setbacks to 750 within the deemed range acceptable to minimize risk of litigation, and 1.25 from protected structures serving vulnerable populations such as schools, daycares, nursing facilities. Language related to vulnerable populations is not within our current ordinance and should be included to increase protections, especially for those populations. Suggested definitions of protected structure for vulnerable populations are also included, including verbiage if you would so choose to use it. Third, there is a recent article that was in the Herald Standard in which Cecil Township recently approved an ordinance change of 2,500 feet from protected structures and 5,000 feet from hospitals and schools. So that's been approved in Cecil Township as well. So today I am again asking, with all the past and current information presented, that the board consider and amend Ordinance 385, Section 2, General Standards, Paragraph N, to update setbacks to 750 feet or greater, and from any protected structure, and 1.25 miles or greater from any protected structure serving a vulnerable population with the associated changes in the definitions in section A of those populations. We ask the supervisors to use the next month to review the information provided in time for discussion and potential vote to amend the ordinance 385 specific to setbacks to be added to the meeting agenda for December. And I have all the information for you, so. And there's two extra, I think, manager.
Yeah, that would be great.
There's two extra.
Let me make a couple of comments on that real quick. We have already asked our engineer to look into the effect of changing the distances between residents and so forth, see how it would affect our township and so forth. And he's still looking into that right now. The second thing is Cecil Township is already involved in a lawsuit on the change they made reference to the distances, and it would be wise for us to wait until the results of that court action come out, because there's no sense in us making a change and having that the court order something different. Then we would end up having a significant litigation cost for something Cecil County or Township is already litigating. So we hear you're interested in it, we're interested in it, but until we get the information from our engineer and find out what the courts have done in reference to what Cecil Township has done, I think we should hold off, because even if the court says it's okay for X number of feet, yards, whatever, that would help us to determine what would be acceptable by the courts. Because, if the courts find that we've done something wrong, they're the ones that are going to be able to say how far you can do it, and we have no say in it. So I think we need to wait for a little bit and find out what the resolution of the court case is, and we'll find out from our engineer.
What is the specific information you're asking from the engineer? Just so that I'm informed of.
So what I would be doing is taking your proposed distances and just drawing a bunch of circles on the map, just to see what's left over. Because the one thing you need to be a little bit careful of is what's called exclusionary zoning. If you create, this is my opinion, if you create a scenario where there was 0 opportunities to put in a gas well, obviously there's a threat there, and I would leave that to your solicitor.
So a question I would have is, since it's zoned light industrial, it's not exclusive to gas wells, right? So if a certain, because we do have the other area, which is the village residential, I believe is what it's called, that's up near the Fraser West, kind of more north in that direction.
RE real estate.
Yeah, which is not, it would still be an open and available space for.
This is for your comments and
Okay.
so I'm going to have to call the time.
No problem, that's, if you would like to talk to me after, I'd like clarification.
I'd like to just say, just respond, Vanessa, she can sit down, but I think Cecil Township, they went for 2,500. They got pretty aggressive.
But they went for 25 plus the mile.
Plus the mile.
The mile is one that's gonna kill.
Maybe, we don't know, it's not, do we know that about Ligonier? I mean, I think what we need to start talking about is, this is a long process, right? So we do want, Dan.
Yeah, they were over a year and a half. Season.
What about Ligonier? Are they in litigation?
No, it's a year and a half for them to get through the approval process.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So this is a long process, so I would like to really start hearing people out and getting, we have a public hearing, we're having a public hearing about Frederick Farms. It's, some of our residents might want more development, but we're very solicitous to letting developers come in and be heard out. I think our residents need to be able to have a public hearing about larger setbacks. Doesn't put us on the spot. We can hear what they're saying, we can hear what their experts say, but we can't do it this month, but we can put it on an agenda item for next month to schedule a public hearing and just give people some sort of idea of where this is going and not have people have to show up every.
Well, I think the first thing we do is let Dan provide us the information he needs to give us, and then if it looks like it's feasible for us to do that, and then put it on the agenda for the following meeting.
When's that gonna happen?
I assume we have something for us next month, right?
Yes. But if it's not, then I think we need to have that on the agenda next month to vote for a public hearing.
Okay.
Or any further comments?
The Lividier ordinance is in your back pocket too, sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Hello, my name is Ellie Euchers of 318 Milldam Road. I attend Dorseyville Middle School along with around 800 other students. For tonight, pretend that in their absence, I am representing all the students that attend DMS. I am here to express my concerns about the current oil and gas zoning ordinance. In preparing for this, I have done a lot of reading from different sources on the health impact of being close to a fracking pad. And to be honest, it is scary. It seems like cancer to me. It is slowly growing in the background, and by the time you have symptoms, it is too late. In my opinion, based on what I'm reading, to initially allow a fracking pad 500 feet from someone's house in the township is crazy. I also have been told from individuals that were at the Fracking 101 seminar held at the township building on October 29th about some of the horror stories the speaker from Westmoreland County told about fracking in their area. They said not to take their word for it, but to come down anytime and they will show you. I urge you to take a tour. It looks like all of you have so far led a long and healthy life, and I would like to do the same. Our children's health is in your hands. My house may be the closest in the township to the current Miller pad, and if a new pad goes in the pallet site, I am now surrounded by 2 well pads, both under a mile. Another form of health is mental. I just want to make you aware how stressed out my parents, grandparents, friends, and neighbors have been over the last 6 months because of the fracking issues and threats. Only you can make it go away. In conclusion, I totally support the recommendations of Mrs. Sumrock and plead with all of you to do whatever it takes to get them implemented before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Great job.
Very good, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Hackman from 113 Black Oak. First off, I want to make it clear that I'm not against fracking. I am against fracking in people's backyards in Indiana Township. I think you're aware of that too. But we just want to stress to you the urgency of this, especially with the young lady just talked about the mental stress. It's terrible what people are going through. In the past, you've stated that one of the reasons that you didn't want to move forward with this, and we just had another discussion, okay, is that, you know, the fears of the lawsuit. And I think most of you are aware that on November 3rd, in the Post-Gazette, there was an article that was, as fracking turns 20 in Pennsylvania, Cons consider new regulations for distance between homes and well pads.
Yes, sir.
I think you're all familiar with that, okay? So I think now is the time to strike, okay? And I have copies of that for you. One of the very interesting things in that, as we hand them out, is the highlighted blue, is Mr. Lucas. You probably know Blaine Lucas, is an attorney for Babs Callahan, and he represents Range Resources. He was quoted in that article that you're looking at. Mr. Lucas declined to say whether Range would challenge the ordinance as exclusionary if supervisors approve it on Monday. This is for Cecil, and they did approve it on Monday. So he said it's not, he declined to say whether they would challenge it. He further said, but he confirmed that no township has been sued for passing an ordinance that was perceived as too strict. So that's the quote out of the paper, that nobody has been sued. I just heard discussions now about Cecil's in litigation. You may want to confirm that. From what I could read, they said they're concerned about litigation, but I saw no information that says they were actually in the middle. Vanessa had presented a suggestion that next month that we review this again. One of the questions that I would ask you folks is that, sure, we're concerned about litigation. We don't want to get into a big lawsuit. But my question is that if we were to implement the changes as recommended or something close like that, and we put them in our ordinances, okay, if later on we get challenged, then we have a decision process. Do we fight it or do we walk away? my question to you is, if at that time that came about, and we came to that decision, and we decided to walk away, what would that cost us? What would it cost us to walk away in legal fees?
We're not gonna sit here making any estimates on that, sir, because we don't know what the situation would be at that time, and as I just said, we're getting a report from our engineer, we'll discuss it again next month, so we're kind of beating a dead horse here.
Okay.
I haven't heard about the Cecil litigation. One thing I have heard about Cecil is there's some representatives in the state senate that are putting together legislation that would penalize municipalities that make greater setbacks than 500 feet by taking away some of the impact fees. So I don't know if that's getting mixed up. I know that's something that would probably depend on whether the governor is gonna pass that or not. We don't know where he stands on that, but one thing to look at, we had our budget meeting. So far this year, we've gotten $23,000 in impact fees from our township. That's what we get out of having this stuff around, about $3 a person. So, I think most people in this township would be fine paying $3 a year to not have fracking. So, if the state wants to do that, I hope our representatives step up and say, yeah, if we're gonna take away the impact fees, do what you want, because that's what small government and local democracy should be doing, not what Harrisburg tells us to do. So, keep talking to your representative, because it's a bum deal for us, $3 a person, to deal with that stress.
Can you weigh in on Cecil? Are you aware of anything going on Cecil?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to comment. I haven't seen, I'm aware they adopted an ordinance, I wanna say on Monday, I think, last Monday. I haven't read it, and I'm not aware of anything going on there. I can look into it and report back, that's what, I don't know anything about it. No, no.
I am aware that they Marcellus Shell Coalition challenged the validity of that.
So, no, I totally agree with you that we've talked about this, but it seems like we've talked about this for a long, long time. And our big fear is that if, right now, if somebody wanted to move forward and put in a request to do something on the pallet site, we have no method to not do it. So that's our big fear is let's get something moving.
We've already asked our engineer, we're making the first step, we're moving in that direction.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
Yes, I'm Keith Bartolometti. I live on about 101 Old Saxony Trail. I've been there since 1993. I appreciate you all looking into this setback issue. I thank all of you for your efforts and things. And my one concern, I think this gentleman just broached the subject a little bit, was right now we have setbacks specified, and how do we not permit someone to move ahead under that ordinance if this drags out for a period of time? You all know the answer to that, I don't, but I think we should be willing to look at the setback that's being proposed, and I just wanted to be here and comment that regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comments?
I'd like to say something. I'm for fracking.
Sure.
If I told you what gas prices cost me to bring my campers into camp, you would not believe it. I'm against fracking, like my neighbors are. But there's nobody here in the room or in Indiana Township that's gonna be more affected if that goes upstream. I have a half-mile frontage on Deer Creek, 1/2 mile. Where is the proposed or maybe pad going to be? You keep referring to it as the pallet. I think it's Ghaznavi's property. I don't think the pallet guy has anything to do with it. How far from the stream is the pallet going to be on the proposed?
We have no request for one right now, sir.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Excellent.
That was just discussed when we were talking about changing the ordinance
Right.
to rezone that one spot. They said, well, maybe we can go over there, but right now we don't have.
Well, you know that 25 feet, 250 feet, 750 feet is ludicrous. In fact, it's asinine. I'm talking about a stream that's stocked. Have any of my neighbors contacted the Fish and Game Commission? Actually be the Fish and Boat Commission. Do you have, if this proposal goes in down there, let's assume it does, do you have, are you going to ask for specifics? What kind of holding pond are they going to have? I understand that Range or whatever it was sued because they had an open, a ground pad that the vinyl thing cracked. I mean, have you looked into the criteria? Has anybody in the room, let me think, I'm getting old. Anybody know Corey Slocum? Does the name ring a bell with anybody? You should contact Corey Slocum, or contact his boss. He's the Allegheny County guy in charge of oil and fracking. I was gonna bring him out, because I'm so sorry, I thought this thing was, I've got a message today to get up here, I'm trying to do other things.
How did you get that message?
How did I get what message?
Did you get a voicemail or a mailer telling you that there'd be something on that?
My, daughter-in-law, who lives on campus with me in a separate facility, called me that she got an email saying that we're gonna talk about tonight the building of a pad. Falsely, erroneous. So the email that I have in my machine here is not right. Oh, good.
It's not on the agenda now.
Okay.
But you can bring stuff up non-agenda, so people maybe had a plan to speak non-agenda on it.
I found an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper at my front door, and that's how I knew.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Yep.
All right. I have nothing to worry about at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Dennis, I'll give you some numbers to call.
Thank you.
I gotta pick this up. I was looking for
And I
some
would encourage
coffee
anybody
for
who's
you.
ever looking to see if that really is on the, just go to the township website and look at our agenda. It would be on there if we were gonna have a discussion on this.
Here I go.
Okay, seeing nobody else at the mic.
Did you
Well,
ask?
the crisis of this zoning board
Did you
was
ask
a
if
gift from
anybody
my
else wanted
grandson.
to speak?
Yeah, I did, but you want to?
I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. So just to confirm, you're not planning on voting on another drill site tonight?
No.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Because every time we come, and this is a multiple, Groundhog's Day type of situation at this point for us as citizens. And I hear a lot of talk tonight about lawsuits and the risk of lawsuits and the risk of money. But I think we're missing a huge other risk that I haven't heard anybody discuss. And I don't know if you remember other times that I have come up, every time I have come up and spoken, I have mentioned my oldest daughter, Ada May, who has a rare genetic disorder. This was a lightning bolt type of situation. No human is responsible for the daily struggles that she has to go through. Medically, it is harrowing what we have to go through on a daily basis for her to stay alive. So I just hope that as we move through this together as community members, and as you are all representatives, elected representatives of us, that we can look past the money. And we're all adults, we get it, fracking needs to happen, we all probably drove cars here. We're not saying that ban fracking and black and white issue. But we need to think about how precious that little girl who came up here and very bravely represented her community. Are we all doing that? At the end of the day, do you want to say, I fought a damn good fight with my community to help make sure that all of my community members had the best lives that they deserve? Or do you want to sit and say, I probably gave maybe 5 kids cancer, but oh well. Like, can we please get real about this? And I understand you have to go through the motions. I understand we have to come and we have to discuss this. You have to turn in the information. But let's be real. This isn't going to help us at all. And at the end of the day, yes, let's fight the fight together. And we're not trying to vilify anybody. We're just standing up here. Every time I watch people stand up here shaking, is their hearts are breaking, worried that they maybe chose the wrong place to raise their children. As one of us was called out to personally benefit from these deals. And if that's so, then you shouldn't be a representative, because that's not the definition of a representative. So let's stop pretending. And let's stop talking about, oh, the risks of the money, the risks of this. And let's just get down to the nitty-gritty and the business of it and all of the details that Vanessa very clearly laid out, and what will make sure that we have a safe and healthy community moving forward. Because I'm sure at the end of the day, hopefully that's why you got into the seats you're in. And if not, you shouldn't be in them. And you don't have any business there. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Does anybody else have any?
I have one thing to say. So I just want to follow up on what you're saying. You know, it isn't just about money. We did the budget. It is a human issue, these kids. Like, I want, you know, we all know what happens if you live within a mile of these things.
Yeah.
These kids don't have a choice. This kid doesn't have a choice to go to school. We can stop this if we want this.
Yes.
It's baloney to say that the legal fees are so scary. Look, we're getting $23 grand a year from this. Hear me
I'll
out.
tell you what's scary. When I call
Ma'am,
911
you've had
and these
your
guys
time,
enter
okay?
my house every time my kid is on her.
Please,
Calm down.
he's got the floor.
But what I'm
Got
saying
it,
is that
thank you.
there's money on the other end. If we
Right.
have one of the top middle schools in the country, and people find out if their kid goes there, they have double the chance of getting leukemia, you're gonna lose a lot more than 23 grand in terms of taxes. So even if it's just about money, it's still a dumb deal. We need to make this change. And
Thank you.
it's just a question of if you can convince one of these 3 guys to join me in Sierra, because we'll give you that money.
And we appreciate it more than we could ever say.
We'll do it in a second.
Thank
It's just
you.
a question people wanna do.
Okay. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion from Supervisor Jorgensen, second from Supervisor Crowley to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
Oh, you're right.
Paper calendar and analog. I know, every time. Good to see you.
Finally hitting balls.
Have things up on the hill. Yeah, I drove up there, a few weeks ago, and it looked like everything was getting sold.
Guy that had to tell me that I plugged up the crosswalk because I had 3 calls.
Yeah, from the back.